I'm gonna be honest with you guys about something that I've actually been avoiding talking about. I talk about my weight loss and my successes with it and how I've lost 48 pounds, almost 50 pounds now. A lot of you guys have asked what I've been doing, but I've been avoiding doing a video on it. Unfortunately, it opens me up a lot to people who judge me and they tell me all the ways in which I'm doing things wrong based on what their experience is or what they've been told or what their opinions are. When it comes to my body and weight loss, I'm very sensitive about it. I decided to go ahead and do it because, again, a lot of people have been asking me questions about it. I'm just gonna preface this with most of you guys are really cool, but if you want to share something that has worked for you, please share it as in it has worked for you and not as a judgment towards me or telling me what I should or shouldn't do. I'd really appreciate it. It's a mental health battle and something that I've struggled with for a very long time. Be kind in the comments, everybody. We're all here to learn from each other and grow, and just don't want it to be a judgment towards other people if they're doing something different. So I hope you understand that. One of the questions that I've gotten a lot is, am I doing keto or am I doing Ozempic or GLP-1? And no, I'm not doing either of those. I'm not knocking either one of those things. If they work for you, perfect. I tried keto, didn't work for me. My doctor and I actually had a discussion about getting off of it because it just wasn't good for my particular body. But when I started adding carbs back, good carbs, whole carbs, not the junk stuff, I actually started to lose weight and I started feeling better and my hormones were regulated and my blood work started to improve. So for me, that is what worked. The other problem that I was having with keto was that no matter like how many electrolytes I took, the cramps were insane in my legs and I had a ton of bloating and a lot of digestive issues. Another reason why my doctor said this probably wasn't a good idea for me. Again, another kind of disclaimer in here, everybody's body is different. We all do not react to diets or eating programs or even certain foods the same way. So you have to do what's best for your body. GLP-1, I never tried it. I think it's great that other people can do it, but for me, I wanted to change my mindset and my habits on a daily basis. So I didn't feel like taking the drug for me was the right route. So I decided to do it just kind of the old-fashioned way and do calories in, calories out, move my body a little bit more. Let me take you back to, I guess it was sometime last year. I had been for a couple of years trying to lose weight and just kept hitting roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. I also at the time was having insulin resistance. I had prediabetes and my blood pressure was higher and I was on medication. So my whole goal with losing weight was not to just lose weight and look better, although that's a great side effect of it. It was to get healthy because I am now 54 years old and going down this route of eating the way that I was before was not going to be good for me long term, and I'd kind of like to stay around a little bit longer. I want to be healthy, and I was just starting to not feel good anymore, and my flexibility, mobility, and everything was just starting to go bad. I thought I have to make a change. The first thing was to also fix this deal with insulin resistance, and my gut microbiome was awful, awful, awful. To give you a little bit more context, was at a size 24. I'm now at a size 16-ish roughly, which is I think like a large, sometimes a little extra large depending on what pants you're actually wearing. A huge improvement, and I didn't actually start that and kind of losing weight until around April of this year. So this is 2025, so April 2025. So it's taken me from then until now to lose the 48 pounds. Sometimes it's about a pound and a half a week, which to me feels comfortable. I didn't want to just go crazy with losing weight like I had done in the past, or I'm losing it really fast, because it's just not sustainable. And I'm really looking at this as a lifestyle change and something that, like, if it takes me 2 years or 3 years to lose the weight, then it takes me that long. So here's what I'm actually doing to lose weight. I started off using the Noom app, and I've used it in the past before with great success, but the one caveat is that I'm an emotional eater, and when I get really stressed out or something happens in my life, I just go off the rails and I will binge sometimes. I don't know if I've ever admitted that on here before. If I was really busy, I would go out to eat, which is making poor choices sometimes because it was fast food. Even though I didn't always feel good eating it, I would still eat it because it was convenient. I just sometimes would go down this little bit of a spiral, I guess, and then I would just sabotage everything, and then I would gain weight again. So what am I doing differently with that? The new map has a lot of education in it, which I really appreciate, and it keeps me focused. It does have a lot of psychology-based information about why we do the things we do, the triggers. It's about just cleaning up your habits a lot. So every day you have some reading to do. Every day you log your food, which I don't generally like to do, but it has kept me very, very focused by doing it. Once you get your normal recipes in there or foods that you eat, like meals that you eat all the time, it's very easy to log. So you just kind of have to get that in there. I monitor my water intake. I also weigh every single day, which at first it was like, oh, I don't want to be a slave to the scale. I hate that. It also keeps me very focused. It's kind of a gut check a little bit for me to not go crazy, because I do have, I don't want to call them cheat days, I call them treat days. They're not a treat for the entire day, it's more like a treat meal. I want to make sure that I don't use those opportunities to, again, go off the rails or eat something that's really, really bad and then not weigh myself the next day and go down this pattern of, you know, thinking, oh, I've gained a weight from all of that, so I don't want to weigh because it's going to psychologically mess with my brain. In the past, if I saw my weight go up and down on the scale and fluctuate, it would be detrimental to my mental health. And I had a very bad relationship with that scale. Now I do not. I just look at it as information. That's it. Purely information. And just a way to kind of track things so I don't get off course. I've learned to trust the process and make adjustments along the way if I need to. And I know everybody's gonna say, like, your body weight, especially as women, fluctuates all the time. And I do realize that, and it does fluctuate. But it's okay. I'm still, like, I recognize that, like, if I gained a pound that day, I know that I didn't really gain a pound. It's probably water or sodium, or because I did my strength training, there's no way I ate enough food to gain a pound. Well, speaking of strength training, because of this kidney surgery that I had, which I went through in my last video, I'm having to really adapt how I exercise because the stent that goes from my kidney to my bladder really irritates with any movement. Doing any kind of walking or any kind of standing exercises just makes the whole problem a lot worse. So I'm having to adapt, and I'm determined I'm not going to let this derail me. I'm still going to get in some exercise, and I wasn't even sure what exercises I should do, but thankfully, lucky for us, Get Healthy UTV is sponsoring this video today, and they are my #1 resource for finding any kind of workout that fits to the situation that I'm having. Here's what I love about Get Healthy UTV. It is your online resource for workouts, health tips, and fitness inspiration. And it has been a total game changer for me because no matter what's happening in my life, Get Healthy UTV has a workout that fits my particular situation. Right now, I'm doing their chair program, Chair Strength by Chris Freytag. It's specifically designed for seated movements, which is perfect while I'm recovering with a stent. I'm still building strength, I'm still burning calories, and I am still making progress toward my goals. I'm just doing it sitting down now. With a plethora of workouts, I can filter by what I need in real time. There's chair workouts today, standing strength training once the stent is out, and yoga for flexibility. It is all there. I especially love the calendar feature where you pick a program that's been pre-designed for what you need, and then you just follow the workouts each day or week without having to think about what is next. The best part is that I'm still working out. I'm still building strength. And I didn't have to put any of my goals on pause for a few months while I'm dealing with this issue. So make sure you go to the link in my description box or click on this QR code right here and get a full year of premium access to Get Healthy UTV for $1.49. This offer is valid for new members only. Trust me, your body's gonna thank you, and so is your pocketbook. All right, back to the workout. You can use other apps like MyFitnessPal or any other tracking apps if you want, or just writing it in a journal if you'd like, just anything that you want to keep track of your food. But this is actually what works for me. What's different between the last time I used Noom and this time is that then I was focused on weight loss and not health. I'm determined to not go down the stressful, emotional eating route. As you've seen in some of my videos in the last 6 months, I've had some stressors going on for sure. I'm so proud of myself, and I'm happy to say that. I feel like it's okay to say that you're proud of yourself, that I have not gone down that rabbit hole of binging or overeating or sabotaging what I'm doing. I feel so committed to this. I'm making such good choices that every single day that I'm losing weight and focusing and staying committed and making sure that I'm not going down that rabbit hole of binge eating, that it just strengthens me. I'm also meditating a lot. I have a therapist that I've been seeing again that's helping me. There's two things that really help me when I feel stressed. Instead of reaching for the food, I've decided that I'm gonna go on a walk, or I meditate, or sometimes do both, and just getting out in fresh air just feels good. I'm proud of myself for making those changes. The other thing, as far as exercise is concerned, I used to think that you had to go crazy with exercise, like tons of aerobics and running, and something that I discovered is that, at least for right now, my body is not adapting well to that. And I think that that's because of my hormones. I'm in menopause and it just doesn't like it as much. So what I do now is mostly strength training. As a woman in menopause, we absolutely have to do strength training. And I also am walking. So those are my two biggest things, to be honest with you. So the walking gets in a little bit of cardio for me. I started off very slow, guys. Trying to walk too much would hurt my feet, and I was probably getting in 3,000 steps a day. And then I just would increase it by 100 steps a day until I started getting higher and higher. So I just took it really slowly. I just want to be gentle with myself. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to go too fast where I'm going to sabotage my efforts. I'm seeing a dramatic shift in my body from an inches standpoint. You would think that I would have lost more pounds with the inches that I'm seeing coming off my body. But I think a lot of that is because with the strength training and the walking, not doing crazy cardio, it's building muscle, and I'm able to retain muscle and build muscle. So as you know, muscle weighs more than fat. So I'm not losing as much in scales, but I am in inches. So that feels good to me too. Another big thing that I changed, especially for a woman in menopause, is upping your protein. That is a game changer. It actually makes you really full too. So I try to get in at least 100 grams of protein a day. One of the important reasons of having the 100 grams of protein per day is to prevent muscle loss as I'm losing weight. It's another thing with being in menopause, or just in general, people aging. You lose muscle as you age. So it's so important to not lose muscle. So that's why I do the strength training and also upping my protein. Big things that really help me. Turkey has far more protein than any other meat out there. Cottage cheese, non-fat Greek yogurt. When I do chicken salad or tuna salad, instead of putting mayonnaise in it, I do yogurt instead, and I actually like it. It's a little bit of a different taste, but I love it. Also, I'm eating a lot of fermented foods, which helps with your gut health. I'm eating whole foods. I started baking my own bread lately with fresh milled flour, which, guys, I know I posted about it on my YouTube and my Instagram, showing you my first loaf that I made with it. Wow, what a difference. Not only does it taste better than any bread I've ever had in my life, it's so fresh. It has the bran and the germ in it that's really good for you. Doesn't spike my insulin. I'm still losing weight on it. It's phenomenal. I won't go into too many details because I'm actually gonna have a video that comes out about it soon. I just make sure that I get, fruits and vegetables. I'm eating fruit again. Oh, what a lovely thing to do after having been on keto. But I make sure it's not too crazy. So you've seen me, I've had mangoes, I have berries, I do have bananas every once in a while. But the big thing for me was definitely the protein, and then lots of fresh vegetables. Beans, those are good for you as protein and good carbs. And then at night, I eat very light at night. I don't like to have a huge meal because I tend to go to bed a little earlier and I don't like to be full. And also because in the past I was experiencing acid reflux and heartburn. So that's another reason why I didn't want to eat late at night. So I tend to have my biggest meals at breakfast and at lunch. My dinners, because they're typically a little lighter, it would be something like just a small piece of chicken, maybe a couple of ounces of chicken on a plate. I'll have half of an avocado. I'll have some kimchi in there, maybe a little bit of cottage cheese, some cheese itself, like just a slice of cheese or, you know, cut off a block of cheese. And if I have any like already prepared vegetables in there, I might throw that on my plate too. But I eat really, really light at dinner time. Something that's not gonna be heavy. Cooking at home is a big thing for me. I love cooking, and so being able to prep that food in advance and have it in the freezer so that I can have those bigger meals at breakfast and lunchtime is a game changer. My water intake has increased a lot. I'm drinking probably close to like 100 ounces of water a day, roughly. I just make sure I get enough water, especially if I'm doing strength training or anything where you're going to be sweating. I make sure I just increase my water a little bit for that. As I was discussing earlier, I'm losing about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds a week. Now I hit a plateau for 2 months while I was in New York and then coming back here, and then all of a sudden I'm off of it. So sometimes it just takes your body a little bit of time to adapt. Also doing things a little bit differently helps. Somebody, a viewer, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, had mentioned that having like a 6-hour feeding window helps to kind of break that plateau. So I did that. That's also when I started incorporating the bread, which weirdly worked as well. So I don't always do the 6-hour feeding window, but that helped break the plateau. I'm still generally eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I cut off my food typically around 5 o'clock at night because I'm going to bed around 9:30 to 10. So let's talk about what has actually changed since I started this. I've lost the 48 pounds. I'm down from a size 24 to a 16, which is huge for me. I'm still struggling with figuring out my clothes situation because my body is changing so much. I need to figure out which clothes look better on me than others. And I had someone in my comments just recently say, maybe you should go with a less wide leg pant because it can make you actually slimmer. And maybe that was just a byproduct of me covering up in the past. And that is probably very true. I just felt like wearing baggier clothes made me feel like I was covering my stuff and the parts of me that I didn't like on my body, and it just felt better. I'm also going by how I feel rather than how I look when I'm doing this weight loss. And I feel incredible, guys. Absolutely incredible. Like 48 pounds is a lot of weight, but even when I had just lost 25 pounds, the dramatic difference in how I felt and how I was moving and how my joints felt was, gosh, it was like life-changing. Really, it was. What's interesting is sometimes I think you don't really know how bad you feel until you feel good again. And then you realize how bad it actually was. Like, why was I making myself suffer like that? That just doesn't make sense. Everybody has their own journey to go through, and this is just where I'm at. My energy levels are pretty amazing. I'm sleeping better at night. I no longer have the acid reflux or the heartburn. It is amazing. That is life-changing in and of itself. I actually have a feeling that the kidney stone that I had was because of all the Tums and Rolaids I was taking. I could go through a bottle in a week and a half of those Tums and Rolaids. Like, I was eating them like candy because it was so bad. It was awful. And I think I had a little bit of probably undiagnosed GERD because I always felt like there was this lump in my throat or something at night. And I would take Tums, and it would feel better. Even the things that would trigger it before, like eating stuff with like a red sauce in it or salsa, anything spicy, doesn't have an effect on me anymore. Amazing. I mean, hello, it's just incredible. I know a lot of that is just eating these whole foods again and the weight loss and getting my gut microbiome healthy. That was huge. Amazing news for me. I was able to get off my blood pressure medication. I weaned myself off based on my doctor's recommendation just a couple months actually after I started losing weight. That feels life-changing in and of itself that I don't need that anymore. I never had to take medication for the pre-diabetes, but I was close to it, guys. My blood sugar is normal now. I don't have any issues with that. My current struggle is the kidney stone issue that I talked about in a couple of videos ago. I just have to take it a little bit easier and I can't push myself. Unfortunately, I have to sit a lot. Stent that's inside my body because of the kidney stone right now is problematic. It really irritates my bladder a lot. I'm just having to modify things right now. One of which is my exercise, so I can't walk a lot. As far as strength training goes, I just do my exercises here sitting down with weights. The good news is that I'm still losing weight with all of that, just really monitoring what I eat mostly. And as you probably are aware, like that's a big part of weight loss. As far as how much do I want to lose now, I feel like a good 50 more pounds would be optimal for me. As I get closer, I'm going to really evaluate what that looks like for me. It might be too much because of gaining muscle. Mentally, I'm just keeping very focused and making sure that I just continue down this route of eating well. I just keep looking at it as this is a long-term game for me, and I'm okay with having these small changes on the scale. It feels sustainable to me. I still eat things that feel really good. I'm not starving myself. I'm not depriving myself. I don't go crazy, but the one thing that I have told myself that might help you also if you're looking at weight loss, if I want, say, a cookie, I have to make the cookies myself because I know all of the ingredients that went in them. I can adapt the recipes. I'm now using my own freshly milled flour. And then what I do is I freeze everything. And I freeze it to where they're individual, so I can just take one out and eat that, not eat the whole thing. And that feels really good to me to make my own treats. And so that way I know everything that's in it. It's all whole food and it just feels better to me. The thing that I have learned most during this process, this really fits into that kind of simple, slow living lifestyle that I've been really talking about and the way in which I want to show up in my own life. I feel like this fits right into that. It's more about being present over being like productive. And in this case, productivity would be just going crazy with weight loss and exercise and eating very, very low calories to lose weight. So what I'm doing is more sustainable, and I feel like it's something that I can do long term and not something that is just for the moment. It's truly sustainable for me. It doesn't feel like this crazy diet. I feel like having the patience through this time is worth it so that my body can adapt. I think the only thing that I'm truly scared of during this process, as I lose weight, especially in a 54-year-old body who's had tons of ups and downs with weight loss in the past, that my skin is gonna be stretched out so much that I'm gonna have a lot of loose skin. I don't like that part of it. I most likely will do something surgically about it, especially if it's a hindrance. I'm hoping with doing it really slow that my skin will bounce back enough to maybe certain areas I don't have to have skin surgery, but we'll see. Only time will tell. Another reality that has changed for me from a mental health standpoint is that if I slip up somewhere along the way, a slip up to me is complete sabotage, binging, eating something I shouldn't be, and not being conscious of it, which may sound a bit weird, but for me, what that looks like is being stressed out, going to make a huge bowl of popcorn with butter and salt all over it and sitting in front of a TV and watching movies and not thinking about what I'm eating, just eating. And I connect a lot of times watching TV with eating. That to me is unconscious eating. I've implemented little things in my life where I'm not doing that. So there are many times that if I'm eating dinner, I've already prepared my dinner on a plate, so I might watch TV with that. But a lot of times I do not watch TV or any kind of movies, anything like that, while I'm actually eating, because I'm somehow connecting those two together as far as having bad habits. So I try to go into things consciously. So if I'm going to have a treat, I definitely do not watch TV or anything that I can go unconscious. So I consciously eat that. I make that decision that I'm going to eat that thing that I might not typically eat. Now, if it's a treat day, I don't have to log it into Noom. But if it's on a non-treat day and I want to have that thing, it has to fall within my calorie goals. If it does not, I don't eat it. So I make very conscious decisions about what I'm going to eat and know that there are ramifications to that, which means I may not lose weight. I have to make a decision. Is that worth it? Is it not worth it? Do I make a different decision? Do I eat something different because I'm not going to lose weight? So a lot of these things are going through my head, but I'm really, again, I'm very proud of myself for making these adjustments in my brain about what all of that looks like. It's been a process, but Noom has really helped me with that too. Okay guys, I've given you all of my things. Now I want to hear from you. Leave me a comment below and let me know, what are you doing to lose weight and what has worked for you? Secondly, from a mental health standpoint, what are you doing to change those triggers? I really, really want to hear that too. Thirdly, especially if you're in that over 50 category, what are you doing to stay healthy, to make sure you stay healthy and live longer? It might not even be losing weight. It could be just something that's health related and makes you feel good and makes you feel better. And you know that it's going to help sustain better mobility and better cardiovascular health or lung health or liver health or whatever that is as you age. I would really love to hear that too. Let's share kind of our tips and things that we're doing, because you never know how much it just might help somebody else who's watching this and who's also reading those comments. And no matter what journey you're on, remember to take a breath and remember that slow progress is still progress. Keep at it. You're eventually going to get to your goal. And I appreciate you guys so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.